You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
The way you went, like that, like you're about to smack a bitch.
Man, fuck.
Fuck them.
Amateur hour.
This is why I can't be manager.
The future sucks.
Yeah. The future sucks. That's what I heard. The future sucks.
And on that note, welcome to this week's edition of The Couch Bro-Tatoes. I'm Alex.
This is Cap
Morrison.
And this week we're going to be diving back into our love of South Park because they have released a new
special event.
Yes, as Randy says, a special event, which was on Paramount Plus or download.
TV movie, which is not really a movie.
Yes. I was going to say, yeah, even from the get-go, the very first joke is just like, okay, this is going to be
Let me tell you what a
nice.
TV movie is. It's shit.
Yeah.
It's a long episode. That's all.
Right.
But yeah, so South Park has not been doing new seasons lately, but they've been opting for a bunch of specials, and they've kind of been hopping around different platforms. We used to be able to watch it all on Hulu, and you still watch most. I'd say like 75% of the stuff still is on their website.
Well, like everything is still on Hulu from 1 to 23 seasons. 1 to
Is
23.
it? Because I thought it was completely gone.
No, I watched it the other night.
Okay.
Just to be sure, because I wanted to watch some old stuff, to get a reference point.
Yeah.
But no, it's still there on Hulu. I think Paramount just made that deal with the movies.
Yes. And I know it's also all on HBO. And that's what I thought. They took it off Hulu and put it on HBO.
I've been watching it on Hulu. It may expire. I didn't see an expiration date, but I also have HBO, so it doesn't look fucking matter.
Yeah,
So
really.
keeping up with like what I missed on HBO, and I thought that was like a big driver for like HBO's
Because
expansion for a
HBO
minute.
still has, and so does Hulu, both have the COVID special.
Yes.
The last preamble episode before this season starts back up.
Right.
Which I don't know when they're going to do that shit.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, before we even really delve into the movie, so exactly what the two of them were saying, they've had a couple specials leading up to this, all kind of based around
Integrity Farms strain of weed.
yeah, and so that's kind of where the last season ended, and then they did the two specials on HBO, and now we've got a third special, and it's on Paramount Plus, and yeah. I don't see a lot of people still giving Paramount Plus some love because it doesn't really feel like there's much on the platform.
On the Yellowstone is on there, which is a very big hit.
Yeah,
but it's also on regular television.
is that like a live action Yogi Bear?
No, no, it's about a.
Isn't that Kevin Costner?
Yeah, it's about like a farmer.
Yellowstone, Yogi ain't taking your shit no more.
Smarter than the average bear.
Come on, boo boo. We got some people to kill.
No, you gotta do it like, hey, boo boo.
Yeah. Hey, boo boo.
Samuel Jackson as Boo Boo.
I'm tired of these motherfucking picnics on my motherfucking property. But no, it's a good show. It is batshit kind of insane on some parts because there's one character I think has to kill every day. One character that kills people every day and just like casually keeps walking around.
But isn't like Paramount's big drivers like Star Trek and everything CBS?
Yes, so Paramount and CBS have made a deal to where Star Trek Discovery, the new Star Trek, also known as STD.
That's true.
Star Trek Discovery.
And as someone who's a Star Trek fan, I do appreciate the new show because it is pretty good. It fills in a lot of gaps of like storyline and history. It's kind of like Star Wars stories or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's pretty compelling. The last few seasons have gone downhill.
Yeah, basically anything under the Viacom label gets put under Paramount. Because I was going to say they have stuff with Nick and Nick Jr.
And,
I see a lot of promo for that.
Beavis and Butthead, a lot of MTV stuff.
Yeah,
so
Beavis and Butthead is getting a special on Paramount Plus too.
It's all it is media consolidation, which is joked about pretty well.
Yep.
And South Park movie.
Yeah.
TJ Maxx. Or
Everything plus.
Everything plus.
No super twist.
Denny's Applebee's Max.
Because we didn't really discuss it on our shit that's going to be gone for in a few years episode. Like CDs and books.
Listen to that episode of Something Good For You.
We gotta burn them to keep warm. That's why I buy teen novels. They're thick.
With 2 C's.
But I think that's what they're doing. They're just consolidating everything down to where I don't see cable packages being readily available like they are now.
Yeah.
I see them going out in about 10 years. And it's hey, you like this? Because, you know, I don't know what you have, but I have Netflix, Hulu, ESPN,
HBO.
Amazon, which is a whole another fucking platform that's
And then independent ones like Dropout.
yes, and Dropout, and with Disney Plus, you know, you get Hulu and ESPN and other shit. I refuse to buy anymore. I'm just like, I'm paying for cable now. Like, I don't watch cable.
Well, that's the whole joke too. Is like these streaming services were supposed to combat the price of cable and satellite and shit like that. But now it's like you tally them all up together, you're paying just as much, if not more, and getting less content.
This is why I kind of like that the government is kind of slow when it comes to technology laws, because Pirate Bay is still a thing and torrents exist. And, I got a VPN and whatnot. I could just say fuck it and go down the rabbit hole of downloading shit again.
And on that note, we watched South Park post COVID.
Fuck Paramount. Star Trek STD.
It was very easy, just within like a
not
5
hard
minute.
anymore,
It
is
was
it?
it was a 5 minute Google search the day it came out, and I was like, "Yep, there it is."
What's the worst that would happen? A cease and desist order come from your fucking ISP?
Actually, fun fact, yes, and I've witnessed it firsthand. So it never happened to me directly, and I'll block out names and places to save the guilty and innocent. But at my old job, one of my coworkers was using a torrent mirror on their phone with their computer. So they were downloading torrents on their phone and having the files downloaded to the computer at his house. Well, his phone was connected to the work Wi-Fi, and he was downloading the entire Sopranos
6 seasons. That's about give or take 10 or 13 gigs.
Yeah.
Based on length.
Yeah. So
it's quite a bit.
he's downloading the entire Sopranos collection to his computer and routing it through our internet and his internet. So now ours is tethered to it, and he did not have a VPN. Fast forward about 2 weeks later, our boss gets a letter in the mail.
We're gonna shut your goddamn internet off.
Basically saying, hey, someone's using the internet here to download Sopranos, and we're not happy about that. Delete the files, or you're going to owe us a lot of fucking money.
I'm gonna tell you how the fucking show ends.
Yeah. And that was the thing, is like, I'd always heard the rumors of like the whole, and I've even gone down the rabbit hole of like what happened to the people that fought Napster. And like the handful of people that made the news for downloading music, what actually happened to them? And a lot of them really got fucked hard.
Yeah, because it's the beginning.
Oh yeah, it's like, not to trail off too far, but like this one girl, she claimed over and over that she had no knowledge of Napster, didn't download stuff, and like Napster was willing to settle for like a super low amount, and she was like, "No, I'm taking you to court," because she was right. She felt she was right about it. She left the court first time with double the amount owed now that they were willing to settle for.
Oh, wow.
She files for an appeal. They tack on more to the point where she owed $3 million by the end of it because of how much she fought it.
Oh, wow.
And I can't see that being a feasible punishment for someone.
It's never going to be paid back.
Okay, you're bleeding a rock.
Yeah.
And it ain't gonna happen. And who the fuck's getting the money?
Exactly.
How you gonna daisy chain that fucking money per song, per artist? It's fucking Metallica. They're good. They're solid. Okay, they sold out, and because they sell out every night,
Yes.
okay, they're good.
Yeah.
Lars Ulrich could suck a dick. Okay? I'm sorry you got drunk or forgot your fucking
Paradiddles.
Yeah, your paradiddles and all that shit.
I will say, Metallica is one of the few exceptions. They're basically like an independent rock band on a big scale. They own, like, they're one of the few bands that bought back their entire music rights. They own a pressing plant.
Yeah.
They own their own recording studio. I mean, they do everything in house. That's literally like if all of us just had money and said "fuck a major label," we are the label.
And then you got Motley Crue sells their entire catalog for 150 to whoever.
Yeah,
they sold it to. I read that story and just went,
whoever offered a foot rub and a hot sandwich, they're like, okay.
Big Mac 103.
But it's and that just goes to feasibility on crime when it comes like we've all downloaded something online.
Yes,
we've all copyrighted. We've all done something to the extent of taking something that we didn't pay for.
Oh, absolutely.
But I consider me paying you service for internet my fucking payment.
Give me some free shit on top of this.
Like it's not free shit on top. I'm paying you for bandwidth, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it's like it goes back to that old fucking advertisement. You wouldn't rob an old lady, would you? Or you wouldn't do the, remember the
Napster commercials?
Oh,
Well,
you wouldn't
anti-Napster
download.
commercials.
I remember that you wouldn't download a car, would you? And I'm sitting here going,
Yes.
I would.
If I owned a 3D printer and you still owned an actual car, then yeah, I would download a fucking car.
Yeah.
I would download a house. I would download a car. Maybe I'd download an amplified version of Alexa.
I was gonna say,
Well, the first thing I immediately thought of it was like, you wouldn't download a car, would you? Someone immediately paired that with 3D with schematics on how to 3D print their own gun. It was like, I would download a gun.
And then I love the Boondocks cartoon show. They had one where they're going to the theater, and it's like you wouldn't download all the music, and it just like it starts ramping up, but they take it to the next step. And it shows like this lady being followed into an alley by this dude, and he's just like he drop kicks her, drops her purse. He's like, "You wouldn't kill an old woman for her purse, would you?" And it's just like, where's your analogy? Like, who died? Who died for the movie I just watched?
yes.
That I downloaded illegally.
And the thing is, to wrap it back,
France.
and the thing is to wrap it back to South Park, I feel like there's a tiny part of Trey and Matt
They don't
that are
care.
sitting here going, I hope people download it.
Dude, that is the end goal of your system. The people that made Game of Thrones said, "Hey, we're the most downloaded illegally show on the internet right now." When it hit like season 5,
Yeah.
we don't give a shit. We told HBO we really don't give a shit because they're watching our fucking show.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. They're watching our content. We've been paid. Shit's been paid. They're not going to give us more money if they watch it 1,000 fucking times or one time.
Yep.
It's the same fucking amount of money.
Yep.
So
Syndication don't count.
who gives a shit?
Oh yeah, and coming from that counterculture kind of punk rock mentality that both Trey and Matt did, I just have a feeling because I would like to think because they've come into a lot of money recently. Like something happened, like they bought the Casa Bonita stuff.
Well, they done made that deal with Paramount.
They made the deal with Paramount. They made one with
HBO.
HBO. So it's like they've been kind of rolling some fat cash here lately.
Yeah.
But the thing is.
But they've also done like side projects that help fund their escapades. Like
I wonder how much money the fucking Book of Mormon made by itself.
on Broadway.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's still going.
See, there you go. There's still that coming in.
Yeah, that is constant cash flow right there.
And then they had the greatest music of all, Team America. Everyone.
They never did follow that up with anything new.
Dude, did you see that letter Stephen Sondheim wrote? Because he died recently.
Yeah.
Someone published a letter he wrote to Trey Parker saying he gave him Best Picture. He voted him Best Picture
Oh my
for Team
God.
America.
That's
and he's
awesome.
like, in the bottom of it, it's literally a fucking typed letter with his signature on the bottom. And Trey Parker's like, showed, hey, like Stephen Sondheim, the dude that wrote West Side Story, sent me this fucking
That's
letter.
awesome.
And it's on the bottom. He's like, hey, by the way, if you ever want to get together and do something, let me know. And that's the end of the letter.
Oh my
Shit.
God.
Stephen fucking Sondheim, greatest playwright. Musical.
Yeah, and even all the way to the point of like, they were selling, you can still buy them. I think you can still get them on Amazon, but like the DVD sets of all the old South Park seasons. But what did they also do? Made southpark.com where you can watch every episode for free.
And you know what's cool thing about that? It was all cast in 480.
Yep.
So your internet bandwidth wasn't getting destroyed, because you can still use your phone. You can still use another computer in the house.
Yep.
And
So,
Oh my God.
I would like to think in some alternate universe they're like, yeah, fucking download it. We don't give a shit.
They've done it right.
So on that, it kind of starts with kind of a cold open where they're like, it's finally over. COVID is done. We're
20
finally
years.
20 years later. No, 40 years later.
40. And that's the thing. But they didn't immediately lead with that. And probably my favorite of the cutaways in the beginning was them burning the Zoom headquarters. Yeah. They're like, fuck Zoom. But no, they...
Zoom. I'm going to zoom you.
Oh, God.
And but then they do the slow pan out and you realize, like Cap said, it's been 40 years later, and you see Stan Marsh kind of following in his dad's footsteps, and that's kind of an ongoing. They really for me to want already kind of delve into this part. They did a lot with Stan's character mentally.
Yes.
That's very interesting because in that first scene, when it's pulling out from the computer, all you hear is what you find out later on is Stan's Alexa yelling, Stan, Stan. And if you pay attention, it's his mom's voice.
Yeah, I thought it was his mom at first.
Exactly.
It's a subtle reveal that it is an Alexa.
So you know that's something he programmed in or something he selected, that he chose his mom's voice as his partner's voice, and the following in his dad's footsteps, even with the whole beer and wine thing later. I don't know. There's just a lot of really interesting mental things they kind of did with Stan in this episode.
With not just this, but the whole entire seasons, let's say 10 seasons prior to this, it is a buildup of Stan's character about him slowly becoming
Everything shit.
Yeah, everything shit. Like the whole Nihilist episode where you got to drink to fucking forget. He talks to Satan about internet gaming addiction. He has a very addictive personality.
Yeah.
I bet Satan kind of gives him like a very
He's like,
scientific.
yeah, he's like, well,
it's just all dopamine.
Yeah, the flashing red and blues, that makes you happy. And the gold, it feels like you're getting a reward and all this. And it's just like, wait, they're charging for this, motherfuckers. But I kind of see like this is how it would go, because he would become
his dad in a lot of ways.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And you were talking about Sharon's voice being the voice of Alexa.
Yeah.
It's Kyle's mom's voice that's Cartman's wife's.
Oh,
Yentl.
shit. I didn't really pull that. See, I thought that was more or less South Park just kind of going with their stereotypical Jew voice.
Right.
But
that is Kyle's mom's voice, though. It's stereotypical Jewish house mom.
You're right.
Okay.
Huh. And then I did also think and then I thought it was cool that they were basically using Gerald's voice for Kyle.
Yep.
Yes.
And
I'm
sure it's just
I haven't seen anything with Gerald, or Kyle, that they've really tweaked on since you hear about them not seeing each other for the past 40 years.
Right.
Like he's not. He lives in a house by himself. It's his parents' house.
And I was gonna say it's his parents' house.
So they're gone. Probably moved to Florida or some shit. But you don't know
what happened to his family.
What really he does. He tells them like, "Oh, I'm doing fine," which is a liar that we use to block everything.
Yeah.
Well, because that is something I didn't, because I've watched it like 2 or 3 times now. I watched it the first time, then Chris and I watched it, and then Cap watched it now with us just to kind of get caught up. And each time I did notice that we did get a little bit of history on each family, but we didn't with Kyle at all. Because Stan's family stuff was the last to get revealed. We can talk about that later. But Kenny's was the first to get revealed.
Yeah, Kenny gets killed.
Well, Kenny gets killed, but I love what they did with Kenny.
He gets a doctor. He's a professor. He's a philanthropist.
He was actually extremely fucking smart. And that's what I love. He was the kid that no one heard, no one paid attention to, was poor as shit, but then by the end of his career was wealthy and was able to show off his smarts.
And kind of dresses in parties like Matthew McConaughey in that one movie Beach Bum.
Exactly. So it's like, I love that arc for Kenny because he was always one of my favorite kind of like main character things, because he was always hilarious, but the moment Kenny kind of became like my, I'd say secondary favorite, or just like he jumped up a few tiers, was when he was working at the City Walk place. just to get enough Christmas money to get his sister that doll.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, all right, yep, I like the way they portrayed Kenny. Kenny's a fucking badass. I love that kid. We're good.
The thing about people about Kenny that people don't, I guess, realize who haven't watched the show from beginning to end or continued is Kenny's existence is based on a cult.
Yep.
He dies. He comes back. Now he dies for a little bit, stays down, but he comes back because his parents are cultists.
Yeah,
You find that
and
out.
they reference that when he does finally come
So
back.
the fact that he's dying, resurrecting with the same knowledge over and over and over again. So obviously he's a 9-year-old who's probably lived 19 fucking lifetimes.
right.
So his knowledge would just quadruple every fucking time of what he understands and what he knows.
And he always has that seems to have just one something a one up over everybody.
Yeah,
Like later on
because
as
he's
the series
always the
progresses.
voice of advice.
Even if you can't
And
understand
like
him.
even the boys acknowledge, he's like, well, Kenny's our friend. You know, Kenny never adds to the conversation whether it be left or right or wrong, but he's a base. He's a baseline for the kids, and the fact that he's named after a guy they went to school with who they just assumed died is hilarious.
And one other thing, and I don't think this is jumping too far ahead, with exactly what you said, because if Kenny died, and you find out later on he was working on time travel to try to prevent COVID. Okay, it looks like at the end of the episode does go back in time, at least for a few seconds, our time, and then comes back. Who knows how long that was in real time. But if what you're saying is also correct, let's go into a little bit of fan theory here. This is the longest Kenny has avoided dying again
That we know of.
that we know of.
He could have died by accident.
Well, let's at least say this is the last time. The last time Kenny died was that time we saw in the occultist episode, because I don't think he's really died since then, or he's
When he died as Mysterion.
Yeah. That's a little different. That's more or less in their imagination. I consider those canon, non-canon.
Yeah.
So let's theoretically say he's not died again since that episode. This is the longest he survived without dying. Now he dies again. What if in our next episode, Kid Kenny shows up?
Oh, yeah, I see. It's a cartoon.
I think that would be funny as hell. All of a sudden, Kid Kenny shows up, and they're like, "Whoa!" Like, and all the adult kids are just like, "Whoa! Wait a minute, Kenny!" And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, "No! You don't get it, Kenny. You've got to help." And they've got to teach this child how to remember all the quantum shit that the adult Kenny spent his entire life to figure out. They've got to get Kid Kenny up to speed and learn about it. I think that would be interesting.
The only reason I don't think Kenny died again is probably because his mother's dead and he has no way to come back.
Ooh. Well,
He resurrects by birth, remember?
Yes.
So if his mother's dead, he has no way to come back.
Well, see, I wonder if she is dead because the dad isn't. His dad isn't dead because we saw him in the old
nursing
folks' home.
Yeah.
I don't. You're right, though. I don't think we saw the mom.
Just makes me think of that episode.
But we saw my favorite character, Randy Marsh.
So I was gonna say, these motherfuckers care about lore. They're nerds.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guarantee you, they would think about that little shit and be like, "Oh, the mom would be the key to bringing them back. All right, let's make sure we don't show the mom." Those motherfuckers would do that.
And going on to the next family, that's the biggest change, is Cartman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's delve into this real quick. So not only has he become the stereotype that he believes are the Jews.
Yes. Leans into it heavily.
He married a woman called Yentl, which is bigoted as fuck. Like if you think about it, like in the long run.
Has a daughter named
Cartman.
a daughter named Menorah.
He has sex.
Hakeem. And what was the other child's name?
But
pull that shit up, Cap.
Looking.
but
All right, Dale. That really sounded like Dale. Looking
Searching. Googling.
Looking up the beast.
the beast. But with his kids, his wife, the weird whole talking about Abraham during a rough sex time in Kyle's house. So I've thought about it multiple times about what he's doing to Kyle.
Yeah.
And what really is he going to, like, what it says his big reveal,
Right.
Is it, oh no, this is a sham because it comes at a great cost if it is. That, oh no, I just did this to fuck with Kyle. I married a Jewish woman transgressed into a religion that I know to me is stupid, and not only that, had kids.
Yeah.
Had kids with this woman. And it's not beyond Cartman's ability to do this kind of thing just to get a rise out of Kyle.
I know, because there's like a whole episode where like it's the Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, the Jennifer Lopez.
Yes, with where it's just a big prank on Kyle, and I was waiting the entire time for him to go like, nah, 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 nah.
Okay, so Kat brings up a great point about the hand episode, and Chris, when we watched it, because I posed a question I'm about to bring up, and I've kind of thought through it a little bit more.
By the way, the son, his name is Moisha.
Moisha, that's right.
Who's basically Kid Cartman.
Yes.
Fuck you, Kyle. Uncle Kyle.
Yeah. Fuck you, Uncle Kyle.
Uncle Kyle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then Chris brought up the Scott Tenorman episode where because Scott
turns his family into fucking chili. Yeah.
All because he made him eat his pubes as a prank.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it, and yeah, I wonder because I feel like everyone agrees that something's going on with Cartman. Now, they could completely throw us a 180 and it actually be true. Yeah. He actually did have a change of heart, because we all know that kid in high school that was like a total shithead. Yeah. And then you meet him later on, you're like, oh, wow, you actually got your life turned around. You know, it's shit like that.
I've seen that firsthand, because a guy I went to school with who was very black fellow I worked with, and then I was to school with, you know, total different direction. Laissez-faire attitude about work, didn't give a shit. He's a preacher now.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And a very successful one, and a genuine kind of preacher.
Right.
Not like, put $1 in the box.
So we keep it in the basement.
In the walls, baby.
In the wall, that's what it was.
But he wasn't that kind of guy. He even donated a kidney. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
So he did a full 180.
Right.
You know, and I've seen that, but Cartman cannot. Cartman cannot, because when he tries to be nice, he spits out bile.
Yeah.
he literally spits out a black viscous material of hate that he can't hold on to no more, because he's got to let it out like a dog.
Yes, but don't forget what happened in one of the most recent seasons. He did fall in love.
Yeah.
So that
and then
was
he hated her.
He did, but that was the tiny. Like, we have to give him the tiny little minutes when he does. That was a small growth moment for Cartman. Now, the two references we're talking about with Handy, what was it? Handy Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Wars. Yeah.
The
Handy for
taco. That episode and the Scott Tenorman episode were both pretty old, or like early on seasons with Cartman. Lately, Cartman has been going a little bit more slapstick with his badness. I have a theory that Cartman found out that Kenny was going to die, or found out Kenny died.
because they were best friends.
That's right. Decided to come back to South Park. He is faking it, but they laid one key line in this episode that I think sets up Cartman's reveal. When old man Randy are sitting in the car with Stan and his Alexa, Randy goes, "So who's the broad?" He goes, "It's just my Alexa." He goes, "Well, that's the best you can do? Is that the latest version?"
Right.
That
You
right there.
believe Yentl is a Alexa variant.
Might be
with family. It's a family package.
so you can.
I think that is the tiny little Easter egg they landed, where that's Cartman's Alexa and it's the family package edition.
So you can make love to your Alexas?
Apparently. Well, well, think about it. Stan must be.
I mean, that's
because that's the whole.
wife.
I mean, yeah, exactly, and that must be the whole draw of the thing. It's completely or not entirely. She is rather observant and self-reliant, but for the most part, a fucking hologram you can boss around. Thus, you could probably fuck it. It's like it seemed like there was interact. She was able to physically pick up the remote. So this hologram Alexa technology can interact. So I would be shocked if you couldn't. But I think that would be the ultimate. Is it comes to find out that that's Cartman's Alexa, and then he gets to have his little because then it takes away the little bit of holy fuck that Cartman really hasn't had lately. Because we used to have a lot of holy fuck moments from Cartman, but we haven't had that. And I feel like that is just such a huge jump when we haven't had it in a minute, if that makes sense.
Because we've been getting a lot more Randy-centric seasons lately.
Yes. And also a lot of the stuff that Cartman's been doing. I mean, hell, even his plan to get rid of the homeless wasn't vicious. The old
Like
Cartman would have just like started shooting motherfuckers or like setting them on fire. But he got like this big comical fucking like sidewalk sweeper and like got rid of them with a song of like, you know, gotta get
Tupac
rid
song.
of the homeless, you know, shit like that. So his stuff's been almost more comical slapstick.
City of Santa Monica. They have lots of change.
Yes.
And room for the homeless. Now, my theory is...
Okay.
Here's mine. So, we see the video of Kenny going back in time.
Yes.
To stop it. Mm-hmm. So, he knows what's caused it. It's Randy fucking a pangolin.
Yep.
So, he goes back in time to stop Randy from fucking a pangolin to change the order of time. Mm-hmm. Comes back with a variant. But before he leaves, he does something to Cartman that forces him to change, and that's like it's not a fuck
like
you
that.
moment, but it's Kenny getting his last revenge to his best friend,
Yep.
forcing him to change, saying, "Hey, I'm from the future, you piece of shit. You know what you become," and lying to him and forcing him to change.
I could see that too because you kind of have to again.
Because
Matt and
Cartman-
Trey are fucking nerds.
And
They
because-
lay shit down.
And because Cartman doesn't get vaccinated in the show,
yes.
he gets scared. And he gives Kenny the variant by accident.
Ooh.
The super 12 plus whatever
Yeah.
variants that's revealed on the show.
Family rewards program. That was another one. They mentioned family rewards program in that variant. And that's why I'm sitting here going like, ooh, it feels like they're laying these little pieces for us to connect that it could be possibly in Alexa. But if it's not, because again, you do, with them being nerds writing this show, you have to read character cues. And they've even shown how certain little, eye things are something you got to look out for. They'll program that shit in.
Oh, yeah.
Cartman did seem genuinely scared at the idea of them going back in time. Because he was like, that's when he was like, no, kids, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Uncle Kyle's trying to fuck this shit up. No, fuck Uncle Kyle.
Yeah.
So it almost seemed like if my theory is true, why would he be telling his Alexa characters, oh no, this is a problem? This technology would still exist with or without him. So why would he be panicked about going back in time if all of it gets wiped? Oh well, he still played his prank and got away with it. He never got revealed. I don't know. That just seems a little odd.
Yeah,
I have to watch it again.
So I think Chris's could be true.
Anything with time travel is a bitch and a half.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
It's actually going to be a bitch and a half if we wind up going back and rewatching some of these later seasons and we see that older Kenny character in the background of shit.
Right.
That's that's what's going to fuck with us. And we're just like, holy shit, he's been
going
there
back home, being at work, watching like the fucking Zapruder film back to
Yes.
the left.
and we're just like, holy shit, he's been there the entire fucking time.
I've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kenny's going back in time, like we said, to stop COVID from happening, and it's revealed that the cause of it is fucking his stupid ass friends, Kyle, Stan, and Cartman.
Yeah, so it does get a little bit buggered near the end. But before we get to the end, let's talk about a few more characters that pop up, because we did spend a little bit of time at the end. But I think the best way to kind of go through the episode is just everyone's character arcs, because that kind of leads in through the episode. So yeah, we meet Cartman, and then we kind of get a little bit of a montage of Scott Malkinson.
Yeah, Scott
great.
With diabetes.
With diabetes.
With the lisp. I thought that one was good because they kind of played him as the punching bag for it, and it's just like, okay, I get
He
it.
played Captain Diabetes, one of the most essential characters you need in the game.
Yes. But then I thought the payoff was great when Stan gets all pissy in the church and walks out. He's like, Stan, this is a house of worship. Like, my name's Scott Maxson. This is a house of worship. I got diabetes. And fucking walks
remember
up.
me.
Yes. I was like, yes. Okay. I like that. Was good.
I
love that Tweak and Craig are
Are still a couple.
Still a couple,
Yes.
yeah. I like the callback for Wendy
Yes.
And the fact that you can see he like stands over it because he doesn't vomit as soon as he sees her like he usually does. But,
although he does say, I need to go get a drunk.
yeah.
Yes.
But I was most disappointed by not seeing. So we see Jimmy,
Yes.
who takes over late night with his woke comedy, and you can see it's eating him alive.
Yes.
He's like, "What the fuck? I can't even do a joke about fucking hummus." like it's the far future of woke comedy, and it's
To the point where the woke people of today are going to be like, you serious? In the future.
It's not even jokes; it's compliments.
Yeah.
To a weird stereotype.
You know what they say about Asian airlines? It's just as reliable and amazing as any other
If not
airline.
better. Yeah. Yay. Oh my god, what a great audience. The only problem I had with all the characters, we get our mainstays, Clyde, Tweak, Token.
Token was great.
Token was great because he's like, because this is what it reminded me of It. Because the black friend stayed in town and called everyone back home.
Yep.
And that's how it has an It feeling to it, which is a
Right.
great setup.
It is kind of an It
Because,
feeling.
if you're going to do it, that's a great setup. Hey, man, remember how we were all together,
When the thing happened.
but like our buddies stayed and we made a promise, that childhood promise, kind of
Yep.
like the movie Tag does the same thing.
Yep.
But I like that because it has that It feeling. And there's one person not around. And we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
But there's one person I'm very mad about not seeing.
Okay.
It's Timmy.
Yes.
I know it.
Timmy would be a fucking millionaire because that's the fucked up thing. Everybody's talking about like, oh, Kenny, is a philanthropist, a professor, solving the world's problems. Dude, Timmy earned $1 billion with HandyCar.
Right?
Okay, we see an old Nathan.
Yes.
Hello.
Would you see him at the funeral?
Yeah, you see him at the funeral with his head up.
Yep.
Yep.
Hello, Jimmy, my friend.
And
You see
Mimsy. Mimsy's with them.
You see Bebe,
Yes.
older Bebe.
Yeah.
You see Strong Woman. Mm-hmm. She hasn't changed. She
Nope.
looks the same.
And you also see the goth kids.
The goth kids, and
Right.
her hair's changed, but the one guy, he still looks the same. PC Principal's old.
I love
he's
PC principal, and he's now PC
Gym teacher?
Gym teacher. It looks because he came in with the fucking Adidas and the hoodie and everything. I'm like, yeah, that's not principal wear. You're the fucking gym teacher now.
Yeah.
Do some fucking squats.
Yeah.
And if you cast anyone in a movie that's not from their specific heritage, you are fucking out of here.
Yeah.
Lights out.
Lights out at 6. But it pissed me off because Timmy's one of my mainstay favorites.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I hope he brings him in. I hope it's a elaborate version of Timmy too, where he actually talks.
Right.
Oh, he's got like one of the fucking.
He's got that Stephen Hawking
yeah,
shit.
the Hawking
but,
machine.
but it's the future, so it works.
Yes, and it actually sounds okay.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Timothy.
Holy shit! I know they could never pull it off, but in those moments, you can do any voice you want. Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
That would be so fucking great. What's up, guys? My name's Timmy. You remember me, right?
It's the chair that says bad motherfucker.
I want my wheelchair back. But bringing back all the characters, the mainstays at least.
Yeah.
Because there's two squads.
Yeah.
The
Right.
main squad and the second squad.
Yep.
Yeah. Both the kids and the adults too.
Yeah. And I'm glad they kind of kept it just to Randy because you can't really. Only one who could carry that much weight from the story of South Park is Kyle's mom.
Yeah.
Because at one point she was a mainstay to the point where she's almost in every episode.
Right.
But
Had her own song.
And they,
Yeah.
and they kind of give the other adults like little moments at the retirement home.
Yeah. So shortly after the church scene in which we saw a whole bunch of people, Stan slowly kind of realizing that his dad has something to blame because when they were showing something on TV, Professor Kenny had Integrity Weed up on this big
well,
fucking.
before that, this is when they announced in the church. That's where they announced how Kenny died.
Yes, they announced in the church. No, that was immediately after, because what led him to the church was him watching the TV and the Alexa pausing the frame, seeing the Integrity Weed thing, connecting the dots with his dad, which led to him having the freak out in the church, calling everyone a bunch of bastards, walks out the door. Cartman gets up on the pew, and that's another one of those little things. He's just like,
Even though Kenny wasn't Jewish,
he had some amazing Jewish qualities to him. Many that I see in my lovely wife Lentil, that's sitting right over there, right there behind Kyle. Like those little moments, and it's just like that right there is what makes me think it's bullshit.
I think the fact that the other characters aren't acknowledging it makes it worse because they know what this man's capable of.
Yeah, they've witnessed all of
Granted,
it.
it's 40 years, so they're all around 49, 50 years old.
Yeah.
hate lives forever. In the bones.
Yep, and then shortly after the church scene is when, Stan runs on over, and we finally get to see Old Man Randy.
Oh, nice of you to visit. Fuck off now.
Yeah. And that's when we finally get the last little bit of the main characters' backstories, and they laid some shit on the Marsh family.
Yeah, so during the last 2-3 seasons with Integrity Farms, Sharon fucking hates it. You know she hates it.
And so does Shelley.
So does Shelley, because they don't live in town anymore.
Yep.
They don't live in South Park.
This is just living out Randy's dream and Randy's dream only.
And I love the arc of Integrity Farms because Trey Parker and Matt Stone do the one thing I think people don't do with the whole weed culture. How fucking stupid it is.
Yeah.
And how really specific the way Randy acts with Integrity Weed. Now, he's creating new strains. He's doing this, doing that. But there are a few episodes, and it's a plot point that, well, I could just grow my own. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, that'll fuck up my business.
Yep.
And they put that in, and I'm just like, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're either have a farm at an industrial fucking level, or you're not growing it at all.
Yep.
You know, and I just love that as a concept for the weed analogy.
Absolutely.
And plus the stupid fucking names.
Yeah.
But no, they leave, and it affects everyone but Randy.
Yep.
Randy's doing fine. He's growing his weed. He's hanging out with Tally, killing cows.
Yep.
You know,
Having sex with pangolins.
hanging out with Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
Getting China banned. Or banned from China.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, fuck this pangolin.
So is that what's going on with the, like, say, in the retirement home or in the school, you see this Asian lady kind of...
That is a callback to season 3.
I'm glad you caught that, yes.
That is a callback to season 3 where Chimpokemon.
Yes.
Okay, so it's Japan.
Yeah, Chimpokemon. And what it was is like, hey, check out the new Chimpokemon. Electric Rat. Shoo!
Yeah.
And at the very end of the commercials, they had always had those.
It's subliminal.
so that's
It's
that
a weird
word.
subliminal Chinese message.
Yeah.
And I think that's a word that's going to be in play as just a callback to how China operates.
Yeah, because they don't give a fuck about China and South
No.
Park.
Well, no, because they've genuinely gotten banned in China within the last few years. That whole episode arc was them responding to it,
Exactly.
going like, "Oh, we're banned. Okay,
Fuck
cool.
'em."
Fuck you then."
And another callback to those episodes were Crimson Dawn, where Stan's punk metal band or metal band,
Right.
death metal band.
And a 1, 2, 3.
And a 1, 2, 3, and it's fuck you, Dad. And it's just like, God damn, and the whole censorship thing with China, and it's just a cool callback. Like, you got to be a fan to understand what the fuck is that.
But so you find out from the Marsh family though that they hated the farm.
Randy's greed
Yes.
caused the problem.
And then the two of them wanted to get a divorce. She wanted to take half the farm. Randy didn't want that. And then Stan, just being fed up with the whole thing, decided he was going to just burn the whole fucking thing to the ground. But then found out that Shelley was locked inside
Because
of the
of Randy.
barn because she had a weed problem and didn't want to work at the farm. Thus, when the mom found out, she shot herself. And that's where we are with the Stan family.
That explains like
Comedy.
That goes a long way. It probably explains why Tally's not around either. He was
Yeah, they
probably
don't talk about
He was
that.
probably in the barn too. But
Maybe he shows up in...
But he's a towel. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah, no.
maybe he shows up in part 2 because
I'm
spoilers. There's going to be a part 2.
is going to be fucking fun because you're setting it up. One of the questions I had with the show with this new episode was, because it's an episode, the things around people's heads.
Yes, they've yet to
Yeah.
acknowledge
I think
it or
that's a
explain it.
5G conspiracy bullshit. I think what they're going to do is show that, hey, because Randy briefly says, hey, when we got that dumb fuck president,
Yeah.
then the race war,
Yeah.
and then COVID,
And then Space Jam 2.
come out. I imagine over 40 years, he's only explained about 4 years.
Yeah.
So I think at some point somebody says, oh, fuck, we figured out 5G really is bad. Like, you need protective fucking headgear or something.
Well, something I noticed, only doctors and people in the service industry were wearing them because when they went to Denny's, Applebee's, Max, all the waiters and servers had them on. When he went to the Super 12 Hotel Plus Max, that guy had it, and all the doctors had it, including the nurses at the old folks' home.
Kick him in the nuts, Dad.
So it's just a new version of like the masks with the various
I was gonna say, I
going in
think
your
it's- I
fucking
think
ears
it's-
or some shit.
I think it's just some weird conspiracy bullshit. As much as I want it not to be.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those stupid things where all the nurses and doctors will be lost because of COVID.
Oh,
I think I think it plays into where no, you have to wear this.
Okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
And I would love them to touch,
Or they could be labeled as essential worker
workers.
things.
Okay.
Yeah, this is your essential worker headgear.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Hopefully. I don't think they would lay that down. I don't think they would show the gun and not fire that one in the second
I'm
part.
really hoping Timmy, like it just popped through my head just because it's Timmy, that he somehow takes over for Tesla.
Oh my god.
And it's still the giant T.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that would be great.
He's
oh,
on
that would be
Mars or
good.
some
Yeah,
shit.
we found out that because they say, hey, we found gold on Mars. Amazon, they said they found gold on Mars, and I'm just like,
Yep.
why did they say Tesla? Why didn't they say Elon Musk? I'm like, oh my god, he died.
I know, and they're already playing with like Late Night with Jimmy.
Yeah.
You know, they took out was Kimmel, and they used like the same font and everything, and it was like, and here's Jimmy.
Yep.
Wow, what a great audience.
And but yeah, so our main A plot was Stan reuniting with his dad, trying to figure out all this other shit, which we can get back to.
Oh my god, I just realized what they did. It is it. It is it because the main character, one of the funny character from the It Squad, was a nighttime host. Stan was a know nothing, and the bully was in jail. We just don't know where he is in the story. Holy shit!
and we'll get to that one. And we'll get to that one. But the B plot,
and they have a friend that's dead.
yes. And the B plot was Wendy, Clyde, Token,
Yep.
and Jimmy.
Yeah,
And
and they're trying to get Clyde vaccinated.
Yes, and they're trying to get Clyde vaccinated. And you called it. You were like, bravo. When you watched it the first time, you're like, bravo. They set up this amazing joke where they find out Clyde is the reason that town is shut down because the town got shut down. Only one person in town is not vaccinated after 40 years. So they have to shut it down until it gets rectified. They just can't say Clyde outs himself by just going, well, I think it's personal choice. Well, the next day, everyone approaches him. And they're like, hey, like, you realize we could all get out of here and, like, back to our jobs. Like, some people need us. Some people rely on us. Like, if you could get vaccinated, like, that would be awesome. And he's like, I just don't want to.
I don't trust the research. It's been 40 years, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Like, for a lot of people, it took 1 year of research. And then we're like, all right, cool. Yeah, we're good. We've seen a year. We're fine. We're good. Let's
But
get
like
it.
40 years of a holdout is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So there's shellfish.
Well,
I'm
that's
allergic
what I was
to
getting to. He's like,
shellfish.
well, I'm allergic to shellfish. And Wendy's like, there's no shellfish in the vaccination, Clyde. He's like, right, I know, but like, if someone had some like on their lunch and like came back, there could be like some residual selfishness that left in there. They're like, oh, so you're not getting the vaccination out of general shellfishness. He's like, yes, general
Yes.
shellfishness. And it says that, and Chris was like, bravo.
Trey and Matt don't give a fuck. They're like, fuck China.
They don't care. I do like the extremes of what's happened to South Park because it is the fears of the left and right. Crime being willy-nilly where you see, bam,
Yeah,
it's
see
stolen.
somebody's getting shot in the head.
Just far right conspiracy of what's going to happen, and then you got the far left conspiracy of the military shooting motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I just need to get home. Bam.
I want to go to a sporting event.
I want to go to a sporting event. And I love how like they lock down the town. Zoom calls, Zoom.
In front of the kid in front of the computer. Zoom calls.
Distance learning. Bam. And the whole town just devolves into hell.
Yes. And some of the other characters we got to see when Stan met up with his dad at the old folks home, we saw
Mr. Garrison.
Mr. Garrison. They're like, Mr. Garrison, is there anything you want to share? I want to share my dick in your mouth. And he had Mr. Hat again. which
Yeah.
I thought was interesting. We hadn't seen Mr. Hat in forever.
Of course, Mr. Harrison's going to go crazy and start talking to Mr. Hat like he's real as he gets older.
Yeah, true. And then what's great is Mr. Mackey in the background. Oh, okay. Yeah, seeing all the adults as old people were pretty funny because you only got like a few like passing shots. Like we saw Skeeter at one point from Skeeter's wine bar at this point.
What's the name of the teacher that goes, quit screwing around? You screw around too much.
That was a shop teacher.
Yeah,
you
that
see
was a
him
shop
walking
teacher.
around
He's
with
in
glasses.
there. Yeah, so that was cool because that's the ongoing thing. So like in the future, old folks stay old for a really long time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they kind of did a Blade Runner thing when they finally broke Randy out.
Yeah.
And when they're like, "Old person is loose," and those cop cars that were flying out from the top.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing because the way the old folk home looks, it looks like a fucking skyscraper from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
with the Chinese fucking
Yeah. with
artwork,
the-
because
the-
in Blade
the
Runner,
subliminal thing, yeah.
In Blade Runner, there is that same video of an Asian woman in geisha makeup,
Right.
in Blade Runner. And it's South Park stole it for an older episode, but they use it again, which it's just fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
All the callbacks that the South Park has done over the years. Like you were saying, they're nerds. They're pop culture fanatics.
Yeah. Go ahead, Stag.
Kick them in the balls.
Kick the balls.
And I love how another kind of it thing almost is when the two separate groups kind of figure out the answer at roughly the same time, because there's been another news piece that's come out talking about Kenny, and he goes, one of his last quotes was, "I'm about to uncover some major truths. If I were to die, my friends will know where to find the information to, save the world," or whatever the fuck it is. And he's like, "All you have to do is think like kids again."
Yeah.
And then Kyle was the one that immediately called. He's like, "Think like kids again." Guys, I know where it is.
Yep.
It's up his ass.
Yeah.
And then Stan has that moment with his father when they finally get back to Tegrity Farms, and they kind of look at the whole decrepit, burnt place. He's like, "This is where I lost everything I ever loved. And your mom and Shelly."
Yeah.
It's just like, God damn, Randy.
Piece of shit.
And then finally we get the big meta joke of the thing, because he talks about his Tegrity weed specials and this, that, and the other. He goes, "But this one was something so big, I couldn't even call it a special. It was more like an event."
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
looks at the camera, and it's just like, yeah, we get it. This is an event. This is not a special.
Well, with the whole, who took the last of Tegrity.
Yes. Because that's the other thing. He's like, we've got one last little bit of sprig of Tegrity. Opens up the thing, gone.
Yeah.
So who stole it?
Timmy.
Tally.
Timmy doesn't need a fucking wheelchair. Not anymore. Not in the future.
Right. But I kind of like his. It might be Towley.
It could be Tally, but he has actual feet.
Exactly.
That's true. We see, like,
Towley has
footprints.
feet.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
For all that, it could be Scott fucking Tetterman.
Right.
Oh my God.
A callback on a callback.
Right.
Or it was actually... Or it was Randy the whole time. He just got high and forgot. He's been sneaking out this whole time.
I smoked it all.
Because there's so many characters, we can speculate all night.
Oh, yeah.
It could be the City Walk guy for all I fucking know.
Oh, we saw him in the old folks home too.
With his shitty nursing care. But, we can go straight to the end. Of,
Because he
it's revealed that
he
Kenny
finds
has
his last little bit of Tegrity out on the farm, and he goes, "We've got a lot of work to do." And you see this nice little panoramic view of it zooming out and him walking back up to the farm. But then a thing that was laid earlier in the bit was the B team that was researching Kenny's lab that he donated tens of money to build, which was another Bitcoin joke, which Chris, of course, got a big old laugh out of that when Stan was checking into the hotel, and he's like, "And of course, this is the future. Decentralized, centralized banking has been considered fraud now, so now we just rely on fly-by-night Ponzi schemes like Bitcoin." And as soon as that happened, I was like, Chris was on the writing team. But
It's not a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi schemes work better.
And so the B team is figuring out Kenny's notes and all that, and they call up a psych ward because they find out only one doctor, Dr. Kraus.
Yes.
Kaus.
Victor Kaus.
Victor Kaus was
Kenny trusted his most secret shit with.
Yes.
Was Victor Kaus.
And he's the only surviving doctor scientist left, but he's been locked away in an insane asylum for X amount of years. They said it's been a while. So they call up the insane asylum. They're like, can we talk to him on the phone? And they're like, yeah, no, he's afraid of phones. He's not going to do that. He's like, well, can we go see him?
Are you all vaccinated?
No.
No.
And then he's like, sorry, you can't come in. And what does he say? They're not going to let us in. It's a goddamn conspiracy. It's like, no. They just won't let you in. But it calls back later on. He's that same guy that ran the insane asylum is walking through the halls with a plate of food, and he walks up to a door and he goes, "We got another call for a Mr. Krause today." He goes, "You're pretty talented." He's like, "You're rather popular. Wonder what all the fuss is about." And grabs the tray out and he's like, "Okay, still not talking. I see. We'll figure it out." And then it pans over and you find out Krause was actually Chaos.
Yep.
Vincent Chaos. And it's just like, holy shit, Butters is in a psych ward.
Butters is the Joker.
Yes, Butters.
He turned into Professor Chaos.
Yes.
I can't wait for that.
And that's what I
hope he's like super fucking yoked. So they can't bully him and he can just beat the shit out of him.
No, he's fucking Hannibal Lecter just in a fucking suit. Just like
no, and
I had him with some fava beans.
And the same reason why I love Kenny's arc, I'm loving this arc for Butters. Because again, it's the quiet, meek one that wouldn't even cuss. But what did he do that got himself locked up in that like hardcore insane asylum?
In Kenny's last video, it says, "Hey, I'm going back in time to stop my friends from doing the stupidest fucking thing they've ever done,"
which was break up the broship.
Yeah, well, not just that, but Butters is part of that to an extent. You know, he replaced Kenny for the.
He was the honorary fifth one for a while,
and not just that, he's the crux of their violence. A lot of times, they throw a fucking shuriken in his goddamn eye.
He's the scapegoat.
Yeah, the scapegoat. That Cartman pretends to be him and calls his mom and dad. He's like, "Oh, go fuck yourself. I really don't care."
They play
big old bag of dicks.
Yeah, they play Belgian vagina.
They play Ninja Warriors, and Butters gets hit in the eye with a fucking ninja star.
And then he has to pretend to, and later on in the episode they make him be like a dog. That way they can like get him places.
Best lie, and it's so like just straight on the nose, and it's just like the vet guy. He's like, "Oh no, we're going to have to put him down." And like he's got a syringe full of death, and Butters like, but like that noise he's making. He's like, "We're just going to have to put him down."
So yeah, maybe you know what? Kind of thinking back on it, maybe I'm not surprised that Butters just went mental.
It makes me think that, you know, because South Park never did DLC for their video games.
Yeah,
all they had was Phone Destroyer. But I would love to like just someone just do the conspiracy deep dive iceberg into this and be like, "Oh no, old Kenny is in, you know, Stick of Truth."
Yeah,
or Fractured But Whole.
Right.
That's still a great title.
They're all great titles. Cartman, the Kingdom of Koopa Keep. He's the Grand Wizard of the Kingdom of Koopa Keep. He is the Grand Wizard of the KKK. The writing is perfect. But we did see Kyle's younger brother.
We did not see Ike.
I thought about that too. I wonder if he.
And that's the thing. And so we can wrap back to that. We didn't see any of Kyle's family.
So
we didn't see Ike. He didn't see his dad or mom.
Give or take age, you know, Ike would only be 40. Mm-hmm. You know, if he's 9, because
I wonder if he moved back to Canada.
I don't know. We still got to see Satan. We still got to see Jesus. Because I remember that. Hey, we just call Jesus and Santa and help us fucking figure this shit.
We got to see both of them in the next episode.
Ike's like the Prime Minister of Canada or some shit.
I wonder who's president now.
Or Ike is taking over the reboot of Terrence and Phillip.
Keeping them alive.
It's like Canadian Batman, Terrence and Phillip.
But overall, I think this is a pretty cool episode, and I think they're setting this up. I think they really liked Endgame, is what I'm thinking, is that these guys really liked the last two Avengers movies, and they're planning on kind of wiping the last few seasons of South Park.
Yeah, because it's gone off the rails with the whole integrity farm.
Right.
I think this is their way of going, hey, this is how Integrity Farms ends. Like if South Park were to continue on, this is how it would end. But now since they're going to play with time travel, I wonder if they're going to send everyone back to the moment right before Randy buys the farm.
Yeah, because he bought the farm is why he goes to China, why he gets in trouble with the weed. And that's the whole
Fox the
crux.
Penguin.
That's the whole crux of the whole.
And then
last 3
South Park gets to do something really interesting that I think,
A soft reboot.
well, not even that, but something that I think that Trey and Matt would actually really like. COVID never happened in South Park.
Yeah.
They never have to reference it again.
It stops getting real.
Exactly. They're getting rid of COVID on their show entirely. I kind of talking through it. I think that's what they're probably talking about with post-COVID. Because remember, they don't want to do presidential stuff anymore either because they got burnt out on it.
Yeah.
I think they're so burnt out on COVID and what they did to kind of like entertain themselves during and, pre-lockdown, that they're just going back and just kind of going, yeah, that was kind of a fun what if few seasons. Now we've gone back, erased that. COVID never happened in this town. We never have to reference it again.
Yeah. I would love them to just, go back and get rid of the integrity farms. I think that's what they're going to.
Because it was great, but they did kind of paint themselves in a hole of like, what do you do now?
Well,
Right.
you got to remember, before this, the plot failure they had was the member berries. They were trying to do the whole, hey, remember the nostalgia?
Yeah. How nostalgia is poisonous, basically.
Yeah, is poisonous. Hey, you remember Stormtroopers? Oh, yeah, Star Wars. No.
The
Those
Stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers. Which me and Ken caught very quickly. I was just like, oh, no.
I guess they didn't count. Yeah.
Sorry, that reaction's great. Just, oh no. Not two member.
Not those Stormtroopers.
We don't want them.
Hardcore motherfuckers goose stepping around Europe. But in Integrity Farms, it seems like they took it as far as it could go. Because eventually the whole thing about weed ebbs and flows, but it really just dies down at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I will say,
Much like a good joint.
I will say though, if they're coming back with a new season, god damn, there's a lot of stuff to play with.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a lot that's going on in the last 2 months that they could play.
Shit, last 48 hours. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
and he was a character on South Park. Bob Dole was.
Literally in between recording episodes today, we find out Bob Dole died.
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole likes your style.
It's like basketball, another Trey and Matt project. Dude.
But yeah, I kind of think that's what they might be doing. I think they're doing a soft reboot of the last few seasons and just kind of getting it out.
So
I wouldn't be mad about that.
With this,
because then they still get to keep PC Principal.
Yeah.
But with this, it's one movie out of the 10 they signed up for.
Yeah.
So it's not really a movie.
No,
it's a made-for-TV movie.
It's an event.
It's an event. But I think it's just going to get more batshit insane. I think we're going to see a lot of additional characters that are just coming to play. I would like to see them bring back Jeff Bezos' character.
Yes.
Because he's fucking hilarious.
Didn't they kill him off? I can't remember.
I can't remember if they killed him off, but he had that giant fucking brain.
Yeah.
Oh no, they killed him by accident.
Well, they sent him. They kind of did the Superman ending for him.
They put him in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's fucking hilarious.
I'm surprised I haven't done an Elon Musk episode unless I haven't seen it yet.
Well, again, I think that leads into what Chris is saying. If they do an Elon thing, I think it's going to be Timmy.
Well, Elon Musk shows up in the series when Cartman has a girlfriend, because that's when he develops the conspiracy theory that women are sending men to Mars to harvest their semen.
We'll save that for our conspiracy episode.
Check out Sasquatch at Big Feet.
Yes.
The big beats. But no, I'm honestly enjoying what they've been doing lately, because the thing I always enjoyed about South Park, even if I didn't fully understand every reference they were doing, it always felt like and again, it's something they've talked about later on, but even just the feeling of watching it before really paying attention to interviews and stuff, everyone was a victim. They would punch anyone. They would punch up, they would punch down, they would punch sideways, they would punch themselves. Like, and they were just a world. They were the Tasmanian devil in a fucking mosh pit. It's like anyone was up for grabs, including themselves.
They're like celebrity impersonations, they are impersonations, and they're poorly done.
Yes, exactly. So I think I've always enjoyed kind of, and I hate using this term, but I mean, it just fits, their weird counterculture approach to making comedy.
Yeah.
And it's all the way up to the point now where they've evolved with comedy, included a lot of real life meta things, while at the same time finding a way to make it genuinely funny. Like, I have so many different kind of people in my family. I have people that are, super, super left, super, super right. I could sit them down and show them any South Park episode and all of them would laugh, because everyone gets their due at some point in an episode.
Yeah.
So the ultra conservative is going to feel attacked 1 second but vindicated the next. And the ultra liberal is going to feel the exact same way. Super attacked 1 second, then vindicated the next. And it's because they look at things on such a central, neutral plane, and have honestly harped on the thing that I have forever, which is just think for yourself. There are good on both sides and there are horrible on both sides. You pick and choose what works for your own moral standards, and you be the best person you can be from it. And they've kind of gone that direction with their own show, and it hasn't cheapened it. No. And I have to give them super props to that, because they're always known as the dick and fart show. So for the fact that they're able to wrap in this kind of stuff, not cheapen it, still have shock value. Like, for instance, Cartman's whole thing. Like, that's why Cartman's whole arc works so well. Yeah. It's because they've set up, just like the both of y'all said, they have set up so well how much of a horrible character Cartman is. But at the same time, in their show, everyone has been self-consciously aware of how horrible they've quote-unquote been in the past few seasons. So at the same time, they're going, okay, here's a character that's really changed. But has he?
Yeah, what's the payoff going to be?
Exactly. So I think that's even why a joke like that works so well, is because they've had so many years to build it up. And it's like, and even if it winds up being the horrible, heinous thing of, yeah, he really did meet a Jewish girl, knock her up, do all of this stuff just to get Kyle one more time, it's not going to come off as racist. It's not going to come off as anti-Semitic. Anything is because they've already given the baseline of what the kind of character Cartman is, and it's always been showed to be a negative.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're able to get away with making those sort of jokes. Mm-hmm. And I think, and I give them props. And I know that's just a long-winded way of saying, they're just smart, but it's like, it's smart writing. And so many comedians these days, hell, they even show it on the thing. Oh, I can't joke about this. I can't joke about this. South Park's still joking about the same shit they did in the mid-90s.
They don't care. It's just satire on pop culture.
It is, but it's all the way it's said. Remember what our parents always said? It's not what you said, it's how you said it. And that's why you might get in trouble. It's not what you said. It's like, you may have said, okay, fine. You agreed, but it was the tone of voice that showed that it was the negative. I don't know. I think it's just the way they write things, and they're clever about it, is why they've still been able to joke about whatever they want to.
When I was going through this, they had signed a $900 million agreement with Paramount. That's almost a cool billion.
Yeah.
Which they're probably making another $100 million on merchandising alone.
Mm-hmm.
They signed to do 6 new seasons, so that goes up to season 30.
Yep.
And 14 movies, all within the span of now to 2027.
Good on them.
5 to 6 years. Damn.
Fuck.
Trey can retire and do Broadway for the rest of his life.
Fuck you, Kai.
Fuck you, South Park.
But no, I'm just excited for the guys because, like you said, they're rolling in it, and it just doesn't seem like it felt like for a minute they may have been stopping. Like a few seasons ago, it felt like we might be nearing the end of the show. It's been a good run, but it's like, damn, this one more show is gonna bite it. It feels like they're ending, but no, we still got a good few more years of constant content coming out of the guys.
The way the human race goes, we'll be laughing at every minute of it.
That's the damn truth.
Yeah, can't wait till they do Kyle Rittenhouse on that one. Just walks up to Kenny, bam. Yeah.
But I was worried.
That was pow. You were talking about their dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
So I remember watching the Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and he starts doing this rant. It's right before the Colbert Report was created, and he's like, I come on here at 11 o'clock at night, and you know what I have to follow is the best show on this network, and it's about a singing piece of shit. And one of its characters is a singing piece of shit. And I just like Jon Stewart because he acknowledges, like Trey Parker, Matt Stone, you've created a monster.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have to follow that every night.
And again, I think that's what's also really cool is Matt and Trey
And
are.
you got to think about that's the longest running show.
Yeah.
Next to the Daily Show.
I think it's going to outlive Comedy Central.
Yeah.
It absolutely
On Paramount.
has. Yeah, because I was going to say simply because they've signed all these different deals with different streaming companies, this is going to
the Daily
outlast.
Show went to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I feel bad because Trevor Noah is a good host. It's
He
just
is.
the show did not work anymore.
If it was John Oliver
Yeah,
that would have been enjoyable.
or Stephen Colbert, if he had just kept that character, I loved his character.
I did too.
Because he kind of lost it with this new late night show.
I tried I watched it solid for about a month. Because I was a huge Colbert fan, so it's like I watched it solid for about a month, and it just, like you said, it just didn't
it's
hit.
producer driven. And
Yeah,
he
it's
can't-
CBS driven.
Yeah, he can't be what he wants to be because on Comedy Central, man, he
He let loose.
Well, he also explained he was playing a certain character.
Right.
He's not playing that character anymore. But at the same time, the character came from his smart wit and his quick humor.
Yeah, I think they're killing it for him.
Yeah.
Because I love to, because he's a big Lord of the Rings fan, and he just crushes it. Because James Franco came on there, and he's like, I got one question, and he just like named three, and like Stephen Colbert's like, oh, you mean A, B, C, his sister D, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, you come to my fucking house. And I love that they brought him in for South Park.
Oh, yep.
For the Jimmy, you're thinking with your dick.
No, Jimmy.
I would love, you know what, just the kick in the teeth is just them acknowledging Paramount Plus. The one you're not going to buy. Because like the way Netflix is, with like
Netflix will buy anything.
hell, did you know Netflix bought fucking $100 million and got Friends? Because we watched this new show, Inside Job. They make fun of Netflix on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
I think it's the smartest thing for these larger companies to allow these fringe comedies to make fun of them. I mean, hell, Disney's allowing it with Simpsons still.
Yeah.
Like, because as soon as they announced that they bought Fox, like maybe a few days later, they put out like a Simpsons bumper. And it showed like Homer walking around. It was like just white background, but like Homer passing out Mickey Mouse ears to the family. And they're like, what is this? He goes, we are now part of Disney. And he's like doing the shill thing, and the rest of the family's like, you've got to be kidding me, right? And even Bart's like, no, and like starts spray painting the logo and everything. So it's like, so Disney is allowing the Simpsons to still take jabs. I hope that Paramount and HBO still but like don't get all pissy if South Park throw a few their way.
Ballsiest thing Netflix did was put out a documentary about how they killed Blockbuster.
I have killed something, and now I will parade it around. Look what you could have been.
It's the OJ version of it. If I did it, this is how I would have. But this is how I actually did it.
They just need to do a gif of John Goodman from Old Brother Wardell. You know this is worthless, right?
Yes.
He's Netflix, but that's Blockbuster.
Yeah. Crush it.
You know that shit gives you warts. It just wipes his goddamn hands of it. And you just see Viacom like crying, like, oh my god.
Yes.
Well, this has been our review of South Park post-COVID. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought they knocked it out of the park. I was seeing a few people early on, like on Instagram, going, "Oh, this sucked. Cartman wasn't funny." Cartman was fucking great. Everyone was written well. I thoroughly enjoyed it for what it was.
I can't wait to watch part 2 with or without Paramount.
Yeah. So for this week's edition of the Couch Potatoes, I've been Alex.
This is Cap.
And Chris, do you have any sort of final thoughts?
Fuck you, Kyle.
Thank you, Uncle Kyle.
Uncle Kyle. Did you know he gave me AIDS?